Hey guys, welcome back to another YouTube video. Today we're going to be teaching you how to use calipers, and yeah.
For a lot of times you use these in the RC hobby for
Yeah.
measuring a lot of things. Like say you got a screw and you need to know what size it is. You got, and this is a Mitutoyo digital caliper, and it reads in metric, or you can switch it to imperial with the button right there. And in the machining industry, I've had a lot of calipers over the years. These are probably one of the better ones. They're waterproof for the most part. But generally, we use a lot of dial calipers. A lot of people frown on the digital stuff in the machining world. Not for any particular reason. The dial caliper uses a dial graduation. You see the 100 mark there, the 1. So if you open it up and you see the 1 pop up? That means you're at 100 thou, 0.100. So now if I go to 130, right there, that would be 0.10, or 125 now, because I moved it. So that's 1/8 of an inch. But the digital ones are a little easier to read. Just tells you right there, 3.37 millimeter. And this is a 4 millimeter bolt. And usually the bolts are a little undersized. It reads 3.87. But when you're measuring stuff with calipers, like sometimes you'll find calipers kind of wear out a little bit, or they're just a little bit different out here. These are pretty nice ones. You see I'm getting 3.86 there. And 3.87, 3.87, depends on where you rotate it. But you don't want to clamp them down. You just want to break it until it touches, and that's it. You don't want to go any farther than that. And you can check, like these are ground. These are really ground. They're ground 1, 2, 3 blocks. It's because they measure 1 inch there, they measure 2 inches there, and they measure 3 inches there. So you can check your calipers with this. And 1 inch is 25.4 millimeters. You see what that reads? So you can check your tools with that. Right at 1 inch. And the reason I wanted to make this video is because a lot of people don't know how to use calipers. There's lots of different ways to measure stuff with calipers. You don't just have the jaws here, and these are for measuring the ID of stuff. Like you can stick them in here, and you have to be real gentle with these because these are really sharp and they're really fragile. So you have to kind of stick them in the hole, and you kind of wiggle it back and forth this way a little bit, and then you rotate it this way, and you find the biggest value. But you don't want to put too much pressure on this because, like I said, those tips are really fragile. So that measures 0.351. And that's an imperial. So we put it on metric. It's like 8.84. And you can do the calculations and see how close I was on those two measurements, but it's just a threaded hole, so chances are it's off a little bit. But anyway, not only do you have this to measure what they call the OD, this is an OD measurement, and this is an ID measurement, measures the internal diameter of stuff. This measures the outside dimension or outside diameter, depending on what you're measuring. But you also have a step right here that is ground precision with this. So, like say this is a 1 inch block. Let's see if I can show this to you. No, I won't be able to show you that way. So if I hold these together and I take this right here and I shove that up against that block, we should get pretty close to 25.4. Let's see. .38, 37, 39. And you also have the depth stem here, which you use to check this dimension here. So you can take that, you slide it down to there, 25.45. And to be accurate with this, you kind of need to, you see this one's ground. It's got a flat that's ground all the way across here.
Mm-hmm.
So you kind of want to put that flat up against what you're measuring. Like so. And then you want to rock it back and forth until it sits flat. Get your measurement that way. See, you can measure that way. Measure the depth there, and it tells you the difference from there to there.
Mm-hmm.
This also tells you that distance. This is mostly for like checking down inside of holes. Like if there was a flat bottom in this hole, you could check down to the bottom there and tell how deep the hole is. Which this comes in really useful on RC cars if you're trying to check a hole depth for a bolt to see how long a bolt you need. And sometimes even machinists take these and they grind these down. They grind this off so it's a little bit, you can get into deeper holes with it.
Makes sense.
Yeah. But you got different sizes here. But that's the different ways you can use a caliper. You got 1, 2, 3, 4 different spots you can use to measure stuff. And they should all be pretty close. And basically when you turn these on, you zero it. And if you're off, if it's like reading like that, it means you probably have something in between these jaws here. And the best way to clean that out is just to take a regular piece of paper, clamp your tool on it, and just pull it out. And that cleans your jaws for you. There we go. Same with these. You just clamp them in there and just pull it out. And that works really great for micrometers. We're not going to do the micrometer thing here, but that should give you an idea of how to use calipers for different things. There's lots of different ways to measure stuff. And one thing I was going to tell you also, when you're measuring with calipers, sometimes you have to use the tips. You just have to be really gentle and don't put a lot of pressure on them. Because see, I can put a little pressure on there and I can crank it down another thou or two. But if you come back here into the back of the jaws right here, instead of out here, it's a lot better to measure back here if you can. So like this should be 2 inches. See the big 2?
Yep.
That means you passed an inch mark. See the 1 inch mark? It's got a bigger 1. Mm-hmm. And then it goes a little 1. So that's 1 inch, 100 thou, 1 inch, 200 thou. So if I measure this, it should be, you should just see the 2 and it should line up on the 0. Might be a little dirt on there. These are old 1, 2, 3 blocks. I used these for a long time. There you go. But that's how you use calipers. Hope you enjoyed.
Alright, bye guys.